Hope you guys are doing well. I just got back from my morning workout. I have class in about 20 minutes or so, but I figured get my protein shake and my sandwich for lunch, and we just have a sit-down video. One of my good friends from the channel, one of our fellow viewers, named Aiden George, I believe is how you say his name, but I apologize if I'm wrong, asked me in our last chat video if I could explain some basketball, what basketball is. So I figured, why not just do a small little quick video and explain kind of the basics of basketball. And as I do so, I will be eating my very small sandwich. I've never gotten this. I apologize about any background noise. I have no control. I've never gotten a sandwich from my protein shake place, so I hope it's good. It looks alright. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and do this. I might double upload or something like that. Might just do this. I don't know. We'll see. But tonight, you guys will have this. So let's start off with the positions, or I'm gonna be all over the place. Basically, so basketball is it's a sport. It's an American sport, but it started in America, I believe, but it has spread out internationally. I mean, if you look in the NBA, which is National Basketball Association, the top players are international. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's from Greece. Nikola Jokic is, I believe, Slovenian, question mark. And he's, in my opinion, the best center in the league. You have guys like Luka Doncic coming up, and he's international. And a lot of international players. Excuse me, Joel Embiid. He's a very good international player. Plays at the NBA for the Philadelphia 76ers. Just really, really awesome, good international players. And then, of course, you have American players like Stephen Curry, LeBron James. The list goes on. So basketball is basically, it's a game where you have a ball, you pass the ball, or you dribble the ball with your hands, almost like soccer, where you just dribble it multiple times with your feet, but you're dribbling with your hands. And as you do this, you move the ball from one end of the court, which is where they play on, to the other side of the court. And you have two hoops on each side. One belongs to each team. And at halftime, they switch. So in between, so you have the first half and the second half. And at halftime, when they get that halftime break to readjust their plans, their strategies for the game, they switch the goals. So the team that was playing this way is now playing this way, if that makes sense. Also, I have a lot of peanut butter on my Lanta. Wow. Okay, so next we'll go ahead and go into the positions of the game. So we'll go from the 1 to the 5. 1 to the 5 is just the numbers that they usually are. So the 1, this is the point guard. The point guard is usually the one that brings the ball down the court or up the court, however you want to call it. It's the one that dribbles the ball, usually on an inbound. They're usually the best ball handlers, so they're the best at dribbling the ball. They're usually the best passers, although the game has changed, and you see guys like who I mentioned beforehand, Nikola Jokic, who is a center, who is the number 5. He's the tall guy that's usually in the paint. The paint is the closest area to the basket, to the hoop. And you see guys like Nikola Jokic, who are, in my opinion, he's the best passer in the league right now. So, but in the past, it's always been the point guard. He's been the one with the most awareness in the game and best decision making for sure. So, these are usually smaller guys in the league. At least for the NBA. You also have WNBA, which is Women's National Basketball Association. So of course there's, but they are usually the smaller players. Next, you go a little bit higher on each of these. Excuse me, height actually goes higher. Most of the time, you have some teams like the Golden State Warriors, which is my favorite team. Draymond Green is an NBA player. He plays for them, and he's a power forward, which is the 4th. So you think he'd be pretty tall, but he's not super tall. He's a smaller power forward compared to others, but that's okay. As long as they play their role and know what they're doing, that's what matters. They need to add more bananas in my sandwich. They really do. So next you have the 2. The 2 is the shooting guard. Now, as you may know, the shooting guard shoots a lot. He's supposed to be one of the best shooters on the team. He can also be a point guard. And you usually see shooting guards out on the wing or in the corner. The wing, basically there's a 3-point line. 3-point line is if you're behind that line and you shoot it and make it in the hoop. Just 3 points. Everything inside is 2 points, okay? There is one exception. If you get fouled, which, like if you're going for a layup, which is just you dribble towards the basket and you take the ball up, or maybe you're going for a jump shot, which is jump shot. You shoot in the middle of the air or something like that, and someone fouls you while you're shooting, which could be hitting your arm, tackling you, anything to that sort, then you would go to the free throw line, which is right in the middle of that paint that we were talking about, in the 3-point line. And you would shoot from there, and that would be 1 point if you make that, and you can have 2 or 3. You can look that up, or we can make another video go into that later, but majority it's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I just realized my roommate is in the room. I did not know. Dog's out. Okay, so. Alright, so next we go to the 3. The 3 is the small forward, okay? Small forward is taller than, a shooting guard, and he's usually a big player. He kind of does a little bit of everything. Usually a good shooter, but also a good driver, very powerful. Overall, just a very good player. Usually they're one of the toughest to guard on defense and some of the best on defense. Next is the power forward. Power forward is the 4. Power forward nowadays is usually a playmaker or a shooter. So they either make the plays and make good passes, or they're usually in the corner. They're shooting threes or spacing the floor, which basically means just bringing defenders out instead of staying inside. And by that it means they're good shooters. The 4, of course, is a bit taller than small forward. And then you have the center, which is the 5, which is what Nikola Jokic is, and we talked in the past, Joel Embiid. These guys are usually post presence, but they are now a little bit going outwards and shooting the ball a bit more from 3-point range or a little bit closer to the basket. But these are your tall guys, the guys that are very strong and defensive anchors. They stay in the post and they're big threats down there in the paint. The post is also the paint, it's that same close area to the basket. So I would say that's the basics of basketball. You pass the ball, you run plays, which like you have you have 2 corners, you have the 2 wings, and then top of the key is what we call it. So it's this 3-point line. It's like a half circle. And then you have that paint area. Okay? Before I go, we'll go ahead and I'll give you 2 examples for each of, I'm not saying they're my top 2 for each position, but just well-known people. So, for point guard, you're going to go with Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic. Now, Luka Doncic could also be shooting guard, but I'm just going to say point guard, okay? For your shooting guard, your 2, you can look at people like Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell, okay? And I'll say Stephen Curry is on the Golden State Warriors. Luka Doncic is on the Dallas Mavericks. Devin Booker is on the Phoenix Suns. Donovan Mitchell is on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then you have your small forward, that's the 3. You got LeBron James and Kevin Durant. LeBron James is on the Los Angeles Lakers, and Kevin Durant just got traded to the Phoenix Suns, same team as Kevin Durant, as Devin Booker. Then you got the 4. We'll go ahead and go with Draymond Green from the Golden State Warriors, and it always switches because a lot of power forwards play center nowadays. But we can go with Jaren Jackson Jr. I believe he plays power forward mostly. Or Pascal. We'll go with Pascal Siakam. He plays for the Toronto Raptors. And as for the 5, Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Nikola Jokic is on the Denver Nuggets and Joel Embiid is on the Philadelphia 76ers. Alright, so there you have it. I hope that made you understand just a little bit more about what basketball is. I appreciate you guys staying and listening, and I hope it was slightly relaxing. I apologize about the sound, and my roommate, he's breathing so heavily, but it means he's in a good sleep, and that matters. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to y'all at a different time. Bye.